In what proved to be another historic trip to Israel, Pastor Larry and the team made huge strides in the strengthening of the relationship between Christians and Jews. We were able to get an accurate assessment of the war and saw firsthand how our donations are making a difference. With the help of the Israel Allies Foundation and CEO Josh Reinstein, our first meeting took place with Mr. Israel Gance, the governor of the ancient province of Benjamin. It's located in what the world calls the West Bank, but is actually the biblical region of Judea and Samaria. The governor provided a powerful history lesson on the Jewish rights to the land, as well as a detailed security briefing on the daily threat of terrorism. Pro-Hamas terrorists are trying to injure and murder Israeli civilians every day, but the closest hospital is a 45-minute drive into Jerusalem. In addition to training the citizens on how to defend themselves from attacks, Governor Gance has taken on the responsibility to build a local medical center in an effort to save lives.
Here we have a hospital that's needing to be built to save Jewish lives, and over here we have homes of Palestinians that are being built. Now, I want you to see this, because when we see on MSNBC or we see on CNN or we hear the propaganda, we hear about the poor Palestinian refugees that are in this area. And I want you to look at some of these what you hear in the West Bank, which is Judea and Samaria. I want you to see a refugee's home. Those are family homes. And here in the Israeli areas, you will not find anything like this. And so when you hear about these poor Palestinian refugees and they show you select footage, I want you to see what is really being built here and understand that these Palestinian people are lacking nothing.
We continued this briefing on the rooftop of a Jewish school for girls that overlooks the city of Ramallah, which is very close to Jerusalem. Despite the fact that Israel continues to provide Ramallah and all Arab cities with a never-ending supply of services, they continue to attack Jewish communities.
We're right here in Samaria, in the city of Sukkot. And if you look to the right there, and you can kind of see where the high rises are, that area there, that's Jerusalem. Now, why is that important? Well, the world, CNN and MSNBC and the United Nations, they call this the West Bank. But this is not the West Bank. This is Judea and Samaria. Why is it so important that Israel maintains their presence here? As you look behind us, just a few feet away, tell them what city this is.
This is Ramallah. This is the headquarters of the Palestinian Authority. Mahmoud Abbas, the head of the PA, has his government right there where those trees are, called the Mukata. And unfortunately, it's right up against the city of Sukkot, like all of Judea and Samaria is. They build it right up to the Jewish communities to intimidate them, to shoot at them, and to strike with terror.
Now, you know, we won't, maybe later Truett can pan, but we're on top of a girls' school right now. And if you look at the study windows of the girls' school, those windows are piled up with sandbags. The reason they're piled up with sandbags is while these little girls are studying, these people over here are shooting bullets at them, trying to kill Israeli little girls for no reason at all. Right below us, there's these streets that run through the city here. On October 7th, when Hamas from Gaza killed 1,400 basically civilians, murdered, butchered, raped girls, little boys, cut children's heads off, these people right here came right to the fence here and were celebrating, lighting up firecrackers, having a party, celebrating the death of Israelis. So when we hear on the news of these innocent Palestinian civilians, what you need to understand is right here, not in Gaza, but right here in Ramallah, right here in Judea and Samaria, this whole Palestinian area, 50 to 70% of them are Hamas. Right below us, you can see a huge cemetery right on the border of coming into Sukkot, coming in here, is a cemetery of people that died. They're celebrating them dying, killing innocent Israeli civilians. And so we need to understand that when we're hearing about these innocent Palestinian civilians, that basically doesn't even exist. These people shoot at little girls studying. They set fire to tires in the streets to keep people from getting to the hospital, or to set up an ambush so they can kill them and shoot at them or blow them up. And so we need to understand, when the world is pushing for the Jews to give up this community, that gives these people who want to kill our Jewish brothers and sisters, that gives them open range, not only for the Israelis in this part, but all the way into Jerusalem. This is why you and I must stand up strong, we must speak up loud, and we must say to all enemies of Israel, which are enemies to America, never again. Now, I know you'll see this at a later date, but we're viewing this, we're here right now, just the day after Purim here in Jerusalem, here in Israel. And just yesterday, the United Nations voted for Israel to cease fire and let their enemies alone. These are the people that butchered men, women, and children. And the UN said, we are voting for a ceasefire. And you know what happened in America? Biden had the administration in the U.S. not vote, not show up for the vote. And you know what that did? The Hamas was getting ready to release 40 hostages, but because America didn't have the guts to stand up for our Jewish brothers and sisters, it stopped the releasing of 40 hostages that have been held since October 7th. So you've got to understand, this present administration is not only pro-Iran, this present administration is anti-Israel. And we've got to make a stand and let every politician know that if you don't stand up for the nation of Israel and you don't stand up against anti-Semitism everywhere in the world, including America, we're going to make sure that you are not a politician anymore. Every Christian, every Jew needs to vote, not Republican, not Democrat, but they need to vote biblical. We need to become biblical citizens again, with biblical diplomacy that Josh runs around the world, and let the governments of the world, including America, know that it is unforgivable not to stand with the nation of Israel. So when we look at how far the enemy is, there it is right there. And remember this, they're not just calling for the death of Jews. And by the way, we just met with Governor Israel Gance, and he said on October 7th, while Hamas was butchering men, women, and children, butchering them, demonic acts of terrorism like we've never seen before, from these minarets, or that are supposed to be a call to prayer, they were on loudspeakers right here and all around the Jewish people. From the house of prayer for the Muslim people, they were up there with loudspeakers calling for the death of Jews, calling, rise up and kill the Jews.